All right, welcome back. Let's start off in Virginia this time. Really, is not too much happening. I am trying to destroy the railroad here just east of Harper's Ferry. It's kind of interesting. The focus of the war has kind of moved away from Virginia since Virginia is really um, it's basically moved into a stalemate. Eventually, I'm going to try to make a third division and for Culpeper here, and then from there they're able to reinforce. Basically Johnston, Smith, and Longstreet's force as needed. Um, Again, really not much happening in North Carolina. Hooker's pretty much just sitting tight there. A little bit of action out here in Kentucky. I feel like there could be a movement pretty soon. One thing that's interesting is being this far north, kind of two regions north of Bowling Green, it's actually pretty difficult for the Union to get around. They have to cross the river here, go and then really go through two regions if they want to go around to kind of bypass. So they have to basically go down a rail, go through two regions, and then march over to a third region. So it's quite a bit of distance, especially considering the Green River there is in between. Everyone's pretty much sitting tight here. I don't really know what kind of navy the Union has been building. We haven't seen them in a while. Setting out the partisan units. Here, we made several decisions. We're going to try to do a screen and ambush, and we're still building defensive work. As you can see, there really isn't any power left here for the force. We hardly have any forces left either. Though as well. Out west, we're still dealing with mud out here, and I'm still kind of dealing with a number of supply issues. So I'm sort of going to, basically, I'm still continuing to spread out. Baylor here is moving on to the fort here to pick up some supply, and I'm hoping actually Shelby will be able to actually take Fort Dodge. Otherwise, things are looking pretty good. We're getting close to be able to reinforce eastern Arizona more, and eventually we'll get a third battery out there, which will give it a little bit of a kick. Let's take a look at Grant's force here. As you can see, there's looks like 4 divisions, and then this force is trailing all the way back as well. Again, we're out of money. And we do have conscripts, but not enough money. So here's what the replacements look like. Several ironclads, a few gunboats, and then a couple brigades are on the way. And then we're requesting replacements pretty much across the board. Okay, let's run the turn and see what happens. Yeah, kind of a pretty interesting turn. We only had one battle, which I'll show you in a minute. It's Shelby taking Fort Dodge. This is where it ended up. That just makes me nervous looking at that. I think it may be time for Wheeler to basically pull back to one of the forts. It pretty much means we're likely to pretty much lose the core of Kansas as well. Of course, we haven't had Leavenworth or Lawrence for a while. And we've had Lawrence, we haven't had Leavenworth. Yeah. This is pretty interesting. Look at this. Grant has moved 3 divisions down. And somehow this partisan here has actually been able to destroy our depot. Yeah, so Grant's moved 3 divisions down, which is pretty. Oh, sorry, that's Reynolds. It's not Grant. Grant looks like he's gone. So I don't really know what these forces are going to do, to be honest with you. So I guess it's possible they could theoretically cross, although I think the chance of them they only have like a 10% chance if there are 4 gunboats here. So we'll see. And Price's forces are pretty much are in pretty good shape. We're still filling them out, but all in all, not that bad. there was a lot of movement out here in Kentucky, and actually enough, or I actually have to think about what we want to do. Um, this was actually the second battle. This the Union force, cavalry force came over here and defeated our militia unit, so they've taken uh, Madisonville here. I think what's probably more interesting is we have some very, very large forces now in Kentucky. Yeah, I mean those are pretty pretty big forces. We do have 3 divisions here, but it might be worth thinking about how you can get a 4th division there as well. Possibly, perhaps sending up Pemberton and replacing it. Again, I guess at some point they're going to have to attack. I think it's probably what's more interesting is whether or not they'll try to go around and come at Forney. Yeah, or they could go around, and we don't have enough forces over here to defend them all, possibly. So, meanwhile, we're still sitting tight with several Union Corps over here. I was able to destroy the railroad here in Fredericktown. As you can see, it's destroyed, and our partisan unit did actually make it to be just south of Baltimore. But it looks like, yeah, I think that the focus on the war, at least for the time being, has kind of gone west to Kentucky, Kansas, Arkansas, and not really so much out west. It's more where I'm personally interested, because I think Confederacy has some opportunities here. Let's take a look at our supply situation. Looks like we haven't taken any supply hits, so perhaps we're getting in, or we're producing just enough supply. There's a little bit of supply there. Yeah, none there, a little bit there, none there, a little bit there. Okay, so the wagon is still on the way. Here's Baylor's division. Pretty much, that's nice to see. He's completely resupplied here, including ammo. Unfortunately, looks like it looks like we actually destroyed the fort. So there's no supply there. There is some here, but I'm kind of like on the prowl for a place where Shelby can completely resupply. And what's annoying is actually going in the wrong direction. Like we want to be able to go. I want to be able to go north, and we're having to go south in search of supply. So I'll try to see if I can figure out if there's another place where we can actually resupply. Can they make it here? Ooh, here we go. Here we go. So looks like we're gonna have to send them all the way to the Indian Territory, and at least there they can get ammo and resupply. So it's pretty interesting. That puts us almost all the way back into Arkansas and Missouri. It almost makes you wonder if it's worth kind of going after Springfield or something. Although I don't really know what's there. So if I send a partisan unit down there, I might be able to get some intel. All right, let's take a look at the messages. Okay, so some trains. This was our depot that was burned. The person raided Harper's Ferry was unsuccessful. We were able to ambush the troops again in Shawnee there, so that's good. Okay, so there's some of our more of our decisions, or regional decisions. We did take Fort Cobb, as you can see there. And we also took Fort Supply, so taking a couple more small forts. Here's where the Union captures Hendersonville. Here's the battle where we lost. Fortunately, the militia unit did escape, so we might be able to get it down out of there, possibly. Here's where Shelby defeated the Fort Dodge garrison. So we take 123 casualties. They lost 600. All right, so we have several couple of brigades that are ready, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so at this point, I'll just have to think about the supply situation out west and what I want to do in here in Kentucky. I mean, there are enough forces here now where I really need to, think about how to get another division over to Forney's Corps. Probably the easiest one would be to send Pemberton's division. Of course, it does leave it Nashville undefended. Another option would be to send one of the divisions from Jackson and just leave one division in Paducah, which with Jackson leading one division, that might be enough to do any sort of stop any sort of assault from the river. So that's another option. Okay, see you next.